All right, on this very last little section here, and then as soon as we do this, we'll be done for the day. In this last section, I just wanted to show you how to modify the environment a little bit to set up fonts and colors for yourself. If you go to the Tools menu, go down to Options. I just had a couple things. Most of the time, this is not checked down here where it says Show All Settings. But why don't you do that so I can just show you a couple things. If you come up here, I'm going to close this up, and you go down to where it says Environment, open that up, you'll see it says Startup right here. This is where you can change whether the startup page shows up when you start a new project or not. And this is the way it is by default, and it goes out to this website to Microsoft, and you'll notice that it uploads and changes the content every hour. I've never changed that, but if you don't want that, you can tell it to go to a home page. You can tell it to open the last project you were working on or open a new one. Just show an empty environment so you can do whatever you want. So if you're tired of that start page coming up, you can get rid of that. So it's under Environment, under Startup. The other thing I want you to know is fonts and colors, because I changed this for you guys on my printouts. You can change the settings in terms of fonts and stuff for all of these things. The only two that I ever pay any attention to is the text editor itself in Visual Studio and the printer. And I've changed them both to a Verdana 10-point font, okay? And I'd change the same thing with the printer. And that way when I print out things for you guys to make little packets, I print them out in landscape mode with line numbers, and I want to show you how to do that. I also want you to see how I do the line numbers. Now, on the left-hand pane, if you go to Text Editor and go to Basic, now depending, let me show you, if this isn't checked and you go to Text Editor, it looks a little different here, okay? But when they're all checked, you come down to Text Editor, you're going to go into Basic, and you're going to look at all these different things that you can have here. Under the General tab, you see here where it says Line Numbers, you can turn line numbers on. They're not on by default, but I always add them for you so that when we're looking at code like this, these line numbers along here, I can say, well, what is line 28 doing? And this is exactly what I'll do when I give you a quiz or a test. I may give you a printout of this, and I say, what is happening with 28? And with any luck, I'll remember to take out the comments, so you won't. Yes, I'm notorious for asking you questions when the answer is right on the screen, aren't I? Anyway, those line numbers are very handy for printouts and for referring to different things. If you emailed me and you said, I'm having trouble with line 25 through 40, I can look at your code and kind of see what's going on to help you, okay? So I think that's a real important one. So the tool option thing, now there's a million things on here, and you can just spend hours and hours modifying this, but I wanted you to know where those things were, because those can be very handy for you, okay? So it's under Tools. Now the Customize one is for actually customizing and adding things to the toolbars and stuff, and so I really haven't really changed anything in there. This thing has more stuff on the toolbars than you'll ever need, and so I usually don't mess with that. Okay, any thoughts or comments on options and stuff? And these options, once you set they'll stick. So the next time I start Visual Studio, it'll use those same options. Those are stored away for me, so that's nice. You only have to do it once. And it's just like doing options in Word or Excel or anything else. Okay, good enough. Well, we covered a lot, and now I would suggest you look at the videos for Lesson 1, where we sort of do this part here, where we do some string concatenation and we start looking at some other features that you can use on your forms. But again, I feel like we got a pretty good start now, and you should have a good feel for how this works. All right? All right. Bye-bye.